historically, it has never liked the idea of BJP trying to assert its identity as being bigger than the RSS.
The RSS could have reined in the BJP leaders back then as well, but why now at this point?
They couldn't have. When the BJP is out of power, there are excellent relations between RSS and BJP. Because at that time, both need each other. Let's also remember, it is only when the BJP is in power that RSS grows exponentially.
Hello, you're watching the Indian Express. Until yesterday, Bharat Dojo Yatra was being touted as the event of the year, which will be coming soon. But hold on to the thought, because we have the Bharatiya Janata Party and RSS meeting from tomorrow onwards in Kerala. And to run us through the agenda of what the top leadership is going to talk about, I have with me Deeptiman Tiwari from the Indian Express. So Deeptiman, tell me what's going to happen in the 3 days that the top leadership from both BJP and RSS, they are going to be meeting in Kerala.
ये बेसिकली अखिल भारतीय समन्वय बैठक है, which we can call as All India Coordination Meeting of the BJP and the RSS, which happens once in a year, and the basic aim of, in fact, we shouldn't say that this is a BJP RSS coordination meeting. This is a coordination meeting of the RSS with all its associated organizations.
Okay.
And BJP is one such organization.
Okay.
This is the RSS framework.
Okay.
And why I am underlining this is something that will come to later in this conversation.
Very important. I'm waiting for that.
So, तो ये जो समन्वय बैठक है, ये बेसिकली कोऑर्डिनेशन के लिए होती है कि जो गोल्स हैं, जो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं, वो अचीव हो रहे हैं कि नहीं, शॉर्ट टर्म गोल्स, लॉन्ग टर्म गोल्स, उसके लिए ये बैठक होती है. और उसमें जितने एसोसिएट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस होते हैं, एंड व्हेन आई से एसोसिएट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, आरएसएस हैज सम 32 एसोसिएट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस. जैसे कि वीएचपी को हम बोलते हैं, तो वीएचपी एक एसोसिएट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है. वैसे
विश्व हिंदू
परिषद एसोसिएट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है. ऐसे ही बहुत सारे, सेवा भारती है, संस्कृत भारती है, ऐसे बहुत सारे एसोसिएट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं जो कि इस बैठक में जाते हैं. बेसिकली उसमें सभी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस अपनी एक साल के कामकाज का लेखा जोखा देते हैं, और उसके बाद उस पर डिस्कशन होता है, और फिर उनकी जो एक्सपेक्टेशन है संघ के लीडर से, उसके बारे में बात करते हैं, या अपने अगले एक साल के प्लान के बारे में बताते हैं कि हम ये करना चाहते हैं. फिर उस पर आदान प्रदान होता है, संवाद होता है कि इसमें क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए. फिर उसके अलावा जो है, ऑब्वियसली इसमें बीजेपी भी अपना लेखा जोखा देती है कि हमने पिछले एक साल में क्या किया, अगले एक साल में हम क्या करेंगे. उसमें फिर अंडरलाइनिंग होती है कि भाई ये आइडियोलॉजी संबंधी ये चीज़ें हैं जो आपने करनी हैं, उस पर क्या हो रहा है, वो बताते हैं कि हम ये कर सकते हैं, ये नहीं कर सकते हैं, जो भी मजबूरियाँ होती हैं एक सरकार की. फिर उसके बाद जो है वो जो समसामयिक मुद्दे होते हैं, जिन्हें हम कंटेम्प्रेरी इश्यूज ऑफ फेसिंग द नेशन कह सकते हैं, उनके ऊपर डिस्कशन होता है. तो उसमें जो भी इस वक्त के मुद्दे होंगे उन पर चर्चा होगी. अभी जिन चीज़ों पे ख़ास फोकस होगा वो होगा, एक तो सबसे बड़ा जो मुद्दा जो कि इस वक्त दोनों बीजेपी और संघ को एक हद तक परेशान कर रहा है, वो दो चीज़ें हैं. वो हैं, एक तो जो रिजर्वेशन का बोगी जो कि ऑपोजिशन ने उठाया है, कास्ट सेंसस की बोगी जो उठाई है, और ये जो एक नैरेटिव तैयार किया है कि बीजेपी आरएसएस दलितों के पक्षधर नहीं हैं, that they do not think about the welfare of Dalits, and that they are here to do away with the reservations provided to the backward classes. उस नैरेटिव को काउंटर करने के लिए क्या स्ट्रेटजी होनी चाहिए, इस पे काफ़ी फोकस रहने की उम्मीद है इन 3 दिन की जो मीटिंग होने वाली है उसमें. क्योंकि ये जो नैरेटिव है, इस कारण से काफ़ी नुकसान हुआ बीजेपी को, जिसमें कि एक मैसेज गया इलेक्टोरेट के पास कि ये लोग संविधान बदल देंगे, रिजर्वेशन चला जाएगा, जिसकी वजह से दलित जो है वो बीजेपी से दूर हो गए. तो संघ का एक कार्यक्रम है जिसे कहते हैं सामाजिक समरसता, which is basically social harmony campaign, where at the Shakha level, RSS workers, who work at the grassroots level in villages and towns, they try to convince people not to practice untouchability, and they try to grant access to people from the Dalit community to the community wells and temples, and try to have community lunch with Dalits and all, just to assimilate them into the mainstream.
Okay.
सो इसको सामाजिक समरसता प्रोग्राम बोलते हैं, जिससे कि एक नैरेटिव तैयार हो कि भाई संघ जो है, बीजेपी जिसका एक भाग है, उसमें दलितों के प्रति कोई द्वेष नहीं है, और वो दलितों को आगे बढ़ाना चाहते हैं, मेन स्ट्रीम में उनको उचित सम्मान देना चाहते हैं। इस तरह का प्रोग्राम है, तो उस पर और कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड फोकस हम कैसे दें ताकि ऑपोजिशन का ये जो नैरेटिव है जिसके चलते कि बीजेपी को नुकसान हो रहा है, उसको हम काउंटर कर सकें।
करेक्ट।
और दलितों में जो है ये विश्वास पैदा कर सकें कि आरएसएस और बीजेपी उनकी हितैषी है। तो एक तो ये है। दूसरा, एक और जो प्रॉब्लम जो कि 2024 के इलेक्शन में देखा गया, वो एक स्पेकुलेशन था कि बीजेपी और आरएसएस में कोऑर्डिनेशन नहीं था, यानी कि आरएसएस के कार्यकर्ता जो है वो जमीन पे उतरे नहीं, और उसका कारण था
इलेक्शन कैंपेन के दौरान।
उसका कारण था बीजेपी प्रेसिडेंट का एक स्टेटमेंट जिसमें उन्होंने कहा कि हम अब सेल्फ सफिशिएंट हैं, हम सक्षम हैं, अब हमें आरएसएस की जरूरत नहीं है। तो ये आरएसएस को इसका बहुत धक्का लगा। आरएसएस वर्कर्स जो हैं दे वर हर्ट, एंड देयर इज स्पेकुलेशन दैट दे did not go to the ground with the same enthusiasm which they would have had this statement not come out. So that coordination, given that there are at least 4 important elections coming in the next few months,
correct,
which will include Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir, Maharashtra,
right,
and then Bihar and Delhi.
Yeah.
So 5 elections. So these 5 elections in the next few months that will happen are very, very crucial for the BJP. BJP would not like to lose them, and they will need RSS help. So definitely there will be an extending of hand during this meeting, that we are together and let's put a united front and let's work on the ground. Let's put all our cadres there, so that we bring voters out, and we have to win these elections. Because if after being reduced to 240 you go on to lose 3 of these 5 states, then you're basically on a slippery slope, then you're declining, and a narrative of your invincibility is going to diminish progressively.
So it looks like an introspection that
that will happen.
Yeah.
Then there will be contemporary issues that will be discussed, which will include what is happening in Bangladesh, because RSS has been very, very concerned about alleged atrocities against religious minorities in that country, which includes Hindus, and it has been consistently articulating that the Indian government needs to do something about it.
Right.
So that will be there. Then there will be contemporary issues like uniform civil code, as to how it is going to be, because it is one of the ideological projects of the RSS, and it would want the government to take it forward. But now the government is not in a majority of its own, so it has to deal with allies who are not exactly comfortable with pushing through such legislation without wider consultation. So this meeting will try to find as to what's the best way to push through these ideological projects like uniform civil code, or say the Waqf board issue, which is gone to the JPC now. So these kind of issues will be discussed in this meeting.
And who from the BJP is going to be there?
Well, 3 people that we are aware of, and that is JP Nadda, who is the president of the party currently, then General Secretary Organization BL Santosh, and Joint General Secretary Organization Shiv Prakash. These 3 people are going to be there. There could be more people, but these are the 3 people that we are aware of who are going to be there. And obviously,
is there a specific reason that it's happening in Kerala?
No, actually there is no specific reason. Actually these meetings always happen in different states, and that's one of the ways that the Sangh ensures that all states feel represented in its scheme of things.
Right.
Okay, so it is happening in Palakkad. Next time it may happen in Karnataka or Jammu and Kashmir, somewhere else. So they keep shifting the venue.
Okay. You talked about how BJP president said that we are self-sufficient, and that might have triggered the RSS chief, and he was upset, and he also deplored the language that was being used during election campaigns. He also talked about bringing in peace in Manipur, and he also talked about ahankar, right? I wanted to ask you, there seems like RSS, this organization which seems like a principled organization, which is really trying to bring direction to the BJP. So do you see that there is a clash that is going on? Maybe Modi is sort of not aligned with what RSS wants. What is your two bits on this?
Look, we have to understand how to understand what is happening. We have to understand how the RSS views the BJP.
Yes.
Okay, for RSS, the BJP is a political arm. Okay, just like there are 32 organizations which are associated with it, BJP is one of them.
Yeah.
So, historically, it has never liked the idea of BJP trying to assert its identity as being bigger than the RSS. Okay, because it is a political party, so obviously it will have political power when it comes, when it forms a government. But RSS constantly tries to remind the BJP that I am the fountainhead. You are one of the fountains coming out of me. So please understand that you are here to implement, by gaining political power, you are here to implement our imagination of the nation.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So there are certain ideological projects for which, whose implementation we think is necessary, for which we have formed this political party. Now that you are in power, you are supposed to do, follow the imagination that the RSS has for this nation. So sometimes it does not happen that way because.
But why now, Deeptiman? Because of course we know that since 2014, Narendra Modi has been being projected by the BJP as the man, and the campaigns have been revolving around him in most of all over the country, right? The RSS could have reined in the BJP leaders back then as well, but why now at this point?
They couldn't have.
They couldn't have.
They couldn't have because you have to understand.
Yeah.
See, at the end of the day, power and balance of power, have their own play. So when a BJP government has more than 300 seats, it is simply not dependent on anyone to do whatever it wants. Okay, at the same time, let's understand BJP was building an organization which would eventually become bigger than RSS. So naturally there was a feeling of, if we understand the aura around Mr. Narendra Modi, then it has been an aura of invincibility, that this is a person who cannot be defeated. He is so popular, he is so good that he cannot be defeated. That aura has got diminished in this election, and because of that aura, that earlier confidence of BJP not needing the RSS came, because you are winning election after election, you appear completely invincible, your charisma is so huge that it is in your name that all votes are actually coming to the party, and
Right.
your candidates and groundwork, nothing is needed. You put your hand on anyone's head and that person wins. So it was that kind of a thing. Now, in that kind of situation, a parent organization can only assert as much. And this is not something which is new. This has always happened. This love-hate relationship between the RSS and the BJP has continued historically.
Can you share some instances?
If we remember Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government, there were so many frictions between the RSS and the BJP at that time. Because RSS wanted certain things to be done in a particular way.
Right.
The BJP was running coalition government. It did not see how those things could be done in a coalition government, and it would not do them, and there would be these open spats between the RSS and the BJP. K. Sudarshan used to be RSS chief at that time, and everyone remembers K. N. Govindacharya, who had an open fight with Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Ultimately, Atal Bihari Vajpayee cut him to size. A prime minister is prime minister. And Ken Govindacharya ultimately just went out of the entire power equation in Delhi. So this relationship
Love-hate
between
relationship.
RSS and BJP keeps going up and down depending upon, for example, when the BJP is out of power, there are excellent relations between RSS and BJP. Because at that time, both need each other. Let's also remember, it is only when the BJP is in power that RSS grows exponentially.
Yes, yes.
If shakhas start getting a lot of members, there are more shakhas which start happening across the country in different states, various states. So more people start associating with them. Powerful people start associating with RSS. More business people start, so more funds are coming. If you have more funds, then you are able to implement your social agendas more powerfully.
Right.
So
right.
it's
a
symbiotic.
symbiotic.
Yes, it's a symbiotic relationship. RSS grows with the help of the BJP. The BJP grows with the help of the RSS.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, RSS wants BJP to remember that look, you are a political arm. Behave like one.
Yes. So the RSS will definitely, convey their intentions to the BJP, hopefully in the meeting, and hopefully we will not see any kind of rift after this meeting. We'll get to know all of that after 3 days of the RSS-led meeting.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Deeptiman, for
Thank you.
sharing those details, and thank you, viewers, for joining us. If you like this explainer video, then like and subscribe to our channel, The Indian Express. Thank you so much for watching.